Hey, welcome to my basement, everybody. We've got a great couple of guests lined up for today's show, and they both worked on Marvel's What If, which, if you've been following along, you know I freaking love this show. So it was really cool to speak with Geneviève Desbiens, who is the animation lead on episodes 3, 5, and 7, and David Perron, who is the compositing supervisor who worked on the same episodes. They both work at Squeeze Animation Studios in Montreal, Quebec, and they had lots of great things to say about working with Marvel and working on this incredible show. We're going to get to that in a second, but first, today's episode is brought to you by Pinnacle, which is back and headed to the Vancouver Convention Center. It's hosted by the Gaming Stadium, along with partners Even Matchup Gaming, Gallant Gaming, and Vancouver Street Battle, and they're bringing you 3 days of non-stop gaming action. Pinnacle runs Friday, October 8th to Sunday, October 10th, and it's going to feature a $30,000 prize pool around some of the best in competitive gaming like Smash Bros. Ultimate, Street Fighter, and Guilty Gear. You can register today to compete or spectate at tgs.gg. All right, let's get started with our interview with Geneviève and David. First of all, congratulations on Marvel's What If. I am absolutely loving the show. How did it feel to know that you got the gig, that you were going to be working on a big Marvel show?
Oh yeah, this was super awesome. I mean, all the team was super hyped about that. Giving life to those characters that we've grown up with and watched so many times on the big screen, it's really exciting.
That's awesome. David, I read your bio and you're a big comic nerd. You dig some of my action figures back there.
I love it. I have some on my desk as well.
Oh, right on. This must have been a huge dream job for you. Was it nerve-wracking or scary at all, or were you just excited to jump in?
It really was nerve-wracking. I would say the biggest stress I had working on the show is giving life to characters that I loved, and I know a few billion people love as well, that I wanted to give credit to those characters to make their energy shine through the screen, you know? Yeah.
Your studio's worked on 3 of the episodes from the first season so far. Episode 3, Episode 5, the Zombies episode, and Episode 7, which was a much more lighthearted take on the Marvel What If storylines. Do you have a favorite of those 3, or is that an impossible question?
Well, no, it's totally possible. Well, maybe it's the same answer than you, but I especially like the 7th one because, the Thor one is so joyful, and even the lighting is joyful. The character, the story it's not serious at all. It's just fun. So yeah, that was my favorite.
That's great. David, how does it work when you get tasked with working on an episode? Walk us through the process a little bit. I'm sure the script is there and you've got, probably some voice recordings and things like that. But how does it come together for your team?
Yeah, for my part, it was more of the visual aspect of it. It's Geneviève worked more on the animation, so giving life to characters through dialogues and actions. On my part, the compositing aspect of the show was more giving a visual life to the show. So the ambience, the mood, and the emotion of all scenes through lighting and colors. So we've been working closely with the concept team, and we had color script to follow that Marvel provided that were very detailed, which you can see in the credit of every episode. It's basically what we use that they've sent us. Yeah, so they're really detailed and amazing artwork that were super useful for us to start working on shots.
That's so cool. Geneviève, you've got to work with characters that we know and also actors that we know. And we know that the faces and some of the work on these characters is a little bit different from the actual performers, but there is a similarity there. What about in terms of animating them? Are you looking at mannerisms from the movies and you're trying to replicate that, or do you have some freedom there?
Our goal is to make them as recognizable as possible. So one of the first things we do as a research is watching a lot of Marvel movies, make sure we get what makes the character recognizable. So for example, Darcy, she's really like deadpan. She almost seems bored all the time. So we had to translate this into a 3D character and 3D animation as well.
Was episode 7 your favorite because of how many Marvel characters are in there? There were so many. It was like a It was just like a party. It was like everybody was there.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I won't spoil anything, but yeah, for sure, many characters are there and add to the story a lot.
David, you're clearly a fan. Is Thanos your dude? Is that who you like the most, or who are you most excited that you get to play with when you're making these episodes?
Actually, I've been a huge Spider-Man fan my whole life. His persona, his life struggles, his relationships are what joins me the most with the character, and I wanted to work with Spider-Man for as long as I can remember. And recently, watching Infinity War and Endgame, I discovered this amazing villain Thanos. And when I had the chance to work on that on that episode, the zombie episode, it was so rewarding to work on characters that I love, such as Spider-Man, and a bunch of others that I'm sure you know. So yeah, it was really rewarding, definitely.
You've got huge casts in every episode from across the spectrum of the Marvel movies. The first one that your team worked on and put out there was episode 3. I don't know if it, chronologically that was the first one that you worked on, but that was the first one we saw. And so many of the characters we love are dead. How was that to flesh that out? Because I'm sure there was a little bit of sensitivity around there. You wanted to kind of set a tone, but it had to go in a kind of a darker way, right, Geneviève?
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, the storyboard kind of like given a big indication of how we have to treat it. But yeah, definitely, like it's special to work on those kind of shots, like making some of the character like hand like this. It's special, but it's definitely cool.
Were you ever in a team meeting where you were like, are we going too far, or did you just trust the direction and the guidance?
Yeah, we totally trust the direction. I mean, the story of Marvel, they are always like really nice, like at the end, even if there's like kind of some plot twist here and there, the end result is always great. So I don't think anyone has like said, no, I don't want that character to die. So yeah.
Very cool. One of the things that we're starting to see as fans, and I guess this is for you, David, is the threading that's happening. Even though these are anthology episodes, there are little bits and pieces that connect everything. Was that fun to work on? Because I know that part of the development of these episodes is the collaboration across a bunch of different studios and different teams out there.
Yeah, definitely working on what would start the multiverse aspect of the second phase of Marvel was crazy for us, and seeing all the aspect unravel with the Watcher and all the storyline aspect really was crazy for us, and for me especially, and seeing the Easter eggs that were like implemented in each episodes, and the talk that went through what Easter egg we should put and why was interesting. And I'm sure fans will be pleased to find those Easter eggs and to see where the story unravels with the big picture of Marvel.
Awesome. Geneviève, what are you learning from working with Marvel? I mean, this is a film studio now with an incredible pedigree and a track record, and the world's envy. But they must have a lot of wisdom that they are sharing with your team.
Yeah, well, every time we did a shot, we had to send them over to Marvel, and there was Stefan Frank, which is an animation director at Marvel, and he was going over our shots, and sometimes he had notes, he had comments about the character. Sometimes he was doing draw over our own videos, and just sometimes with a couple of strikes, like the pose were so much stronger. So I think everyone learned a lot from working with Marvel. Yeah.
One of my favorite elements in the series is how the Watcher is interwoven into the backgrounds, and as we see him kind of get a little bit less in the background as the season progresses. But as a compositor, David, is that something that you worked on, is to try to kind of create the tone and the sense of the backgrounds for where the Watcher might be placed?
Yeah, definitely. Marvel had a wonderful cheat sheet, if I can say, that would describe where the Watcher would be and how he would appear in each episode. So that was really insightful for us. but through the process, we didn't know what would be his purpose in the show. And watching the show, it was interesting to see why some of the artistic decision we did would impact the story.
Yeah, it's amazing how everything is connected, right? I mean, it through the whole MCU, but also through this twisty-turny storytelling in What If. Geneviève, I'm curious if you communicate with the other studios that are working on the show quite a bit. Is it a full collaboration that way, or do you just focus on the work that you have to do and just deal with Marvel?
We mainly focus, but there was still a couple of teamwork, if I can say that. Like sometimes
Sure.
we received some assets or some character that were modeled at some other studio, so there was kind of a sharing regarding that. But in animation, we didn't really have to work with the other studio. It was specifically with Marvel.
Okay, gotcha. David, I asked Geneviève, and she loved episode 7. Was there an episode that you were most excited that your team got to put out there? Is there a favorite for you?
I think my favorite episode definitely is the 6th one, the zombie one. Or is it the 5th one? I don't remember.
That's
exactly.
the 5th one, yeah.
The 5th one, yeah. The zombie one. But the one I'm more surprised about is the last one we did, the 7th one with the Thor. It was surprising because when working on it, I felt like nothing much was happening in the episode. It wasn't like murders or battles that much. But watching it, it's the one I enjoyed the most watching because it was so lighthearted and so fun. And the whole team agreed with that. We were surprised. And also from the public reception, I was afraid that people would say like it's a useless episode or a filler, but it wasn't the case at all. People find out stuff that I didn't even see, and like connected stuff that I didn't even thought about.
7 was actually really remarkable for that. My favorite part of that episode is the battle between Captain Marvel and Thor. You know, that thing that we think about and then we see it realized in the middle of this light kind of fairy tale almost, right? How was that to animate, Geneviève, the battle?
Yeah, well, that specific shot is really funny because when we learned we were gonna work on Marvel, we have an animator that really enjoy like battle and punch scene and things like that, and he watched all the storyboard that we were going to do in 3D, and he spotted that shot, that fight between Thor and Captain Marvel, and he told us, this shot I absolutely want to animate it. So as we were going through the episode, through the sequence, I tried my best to say like, hey, don't forget we need that sequence because I have to give that shot to that animator. So, and at the end everything went well. He did his shot and he was super stoked about it. His name is Pierre-Olivier Côté, and he is really a big fan of fighting scenes. Yeah.
What's it like for you to watch the show on Disney Plus? You know, just as a watcher, as a viewer, because you're like, I'm sure, so heads down and so tight on minutes that have to come together. But what's it like to sit back and turn the volume up and watch this on TV? Sometimes
we kind of forget like the big picture of the episode. So even if we shouldn't, we should always like think about where the character is in the story and everything. But sometimes we kind of forget like the story as a whole because we're doing like part in a different order. So when we just sit and watch it, and I was always like doing first thing like in the morning or the day it came out, I was super excited just to watch it. And sometimes like the story almost surprised me because it's in a way that we didn't saw before, and with the compositing and the lighting and what David's team did and everything, it all comes to life. It's super exciting.
I'm not gonna lie when I say that I never heard the voices of the character. Like working on the show, the visual aspect of it, I never watched with sound or in context, or like the whole picture in context. So seeing it in context was incredible.
That's awesome. Now, do you have a favorite, David? Do you have a favorite episode that you didn't work on?
Well, the Doctor Strange one, I think the 4th one.
Yeah.
It was just unbelievable what they did with the time effect, all the effects, the lighting, the ambience was just I really wanted to work on that episode, and I'm kind of mad I didn't.
Well, it must be also really rewarding to be a part of the whole collection, and then to see the work and be surprised by it too, I would imagine, right? Because I got to tell you, I feel spoiled every Wednesday. I turn it on in the morning and I'm just like, it's just an incredible show. And we're heading to the finale, and I'm going to run this interview just before the finale comes out. What are you hoping for from the finale of season 1? We'll start with you, Geneviève.
Maybe I don't know, a big battle, something really epic. I like to be surprised. I don't want to bring my hopes up or imagine things that could happen. I just want to be surprised.
Very nice. David?
For my part, I'm waiting to see what's happening with the TVA, the Loki TV show, how it's connected.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Watcher is connected somehow to the TVA or like the multiverse, how it connects to the next Spider-Man movie, the next Doctor Strange movie. I'm sure it's all connected, and I want to be inside Marvel's head right now, their creative team, see what they think, because man, something's big's happening.
It feels like as if we weren't big enough before. Now we're like virtually big with characters, multiple versions of these characters everywhere.
There's
it's
nothing
incredible.
they can't do. It's like, yeah, it's crazy.
That is awesome. Now, I don't know if you don't have to spoil anything, but are you continuing your work with What If? I know we're getting another season of the show. Are you going to be able to tell us that you're working on season 2, or what's going on with that?
I'm not sure we can answer that question, Vic. I'm sorry.
No worries.
That's not ours to say.
Very good. Very good. What would you say, Geneviève, was the trickiest part about working on this show for you? Was it working during the pandemic or something else?
Well, working, during the pandemic was definitely a big change for us, and the first couple of weeks were kind of we were adjusting a lot. But
sure.
I think the more we went into it, we all knew how to work with that, and at the end we're such a closely knit team that it kind of went well in their circumstance. So yeah.
And you're all Zoom experts now.
Yeah.
David, what was the hardest part for you? Not telling anybody?
Yeah, definitely. That's one big part. My girlfriend would walk next, like, get away, you can't see it. No, the hardest part for me was definitely onboarding new artists and not being able to talk to them in person because of COVID. But we were all close together, doing playing video games after work on Discord and such. Definitely that was the hardest part. COVID, it would have been wonderful without, but
yeah, for sure. Geneviève, who do you think out of the Marvel superheroes that we've been able to see so far in What If translates the best, in your opinion, to animation?
I think we did a pretty good job on Darcy. I think we recognize her a lot, in my opinion.
Did you hear feedback from Kat Dennings at all? Did you
no.
Did you get her take on that? No.
I hope she likes it, but I haven't.
Oh, that's so cool. What about you, David? Which of the characters do you think has translated the best to animation?
I think Paul Rudd, his demeanor, his sense of humor really shines through. It's just, his voice acting was up there, so it helps a lot. But I think Paul Rudd really shined for me in that zombie episode.
And he was only working with his head. All we got was the face, and he was still killing it.
Face
it's amazing. The zombies episode is quite the standout as well. That must have been really fun for your team to kind of imagine this dystopia and to just ruin all of these characters in some pretty fun ways. Geneviève, talk to us about animating the zombies and making them feel like zombies we know, but also definitely Marvel zombies.
Yeah, well, that was a challenge because we still have to kind of get the personality of the character behind the fact that he's completely zombie-like. So we had to take reference and make sure there's a correct way, just to get enough of the personality, but still have it like wild and savage, like a zombie could be. That was subtle.
And building the world and sort of crafting the feel of that episode must have been fun but challenging for you, David.
It really was. I think the strangest part of working on that episode was the gore aspect, because it was certain that Marvel Disney didn't want to have the most goriest look, so to stay PG-13 or like around that, and it was fun to see the exchange we had with Marvel regarding the amount of gore we could put and to remove some. I remember that shot. There was one character that gets shot, and there was a back and forth regarding the size of the blood splatter, and that was weird to a weird exchange to have with them. But in the end, we were happy how it turned out.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if we ever get Marvel zombies at Disneyland.
I mean, anything Marvel What If related, I'm down.
What's it like to read the feedback? And Geneviève, have you read a particular review or a tweet or somebody's analysis of the show or your work that has really been uplifting and inspiring for you?
I haven't watched that much review, but what I watched was after the first trailer, like there were review of people like analyzing the trailer and starting to connect the dots and try to make sense of what they were seeing. So that part, it's so fun working on a franchise where there are already fans of it and they they overanalyze everything. I love that aspect a lot.
It is amazing how much people pick up just from the tiniest little drop of detail, right? Yeah. It's incredible. David, did you, I mean, you're a super fan already, but I'm wondering if you've watched something or read something that just,
I always am.
Made you... you always are? Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, working on the show, we would put some Easter eggs, solo stuff, and fans picked up on it, and even created their own Easter eggs. If we have time, I can remember of one, the Captain America zombie. When he screams, we see his ear, and his ear has a bit of red in it. And someone said he has red in it because there's still time for him to turn back human. But that wasn't intended on our part. It was just because it gave like depth in the texture. But people are like picking up on stuff that, well, if it suits them, but it's so fun to see.
That's awesome. You guys got to play with a lot of the toys in the toy box from Marvel, but there are still other characters and other things that we could see in What If. Geneviève, do you have a dream of where What If could go?
That's a nice question. Well, I always love Spider-Man, so if there's more Spider-Man, I have no problem with it. And also, like, I really grew into Wanda. Like, when I was watching WandaVision, I think that character has a lot of potential, so maybe we could see her a lot more.
Awesome. What about you, David?
Yeah, well, what's great with What If is every episode you watch, there's a trillion questions that come to mind. Like you see the web like going on about every possibility that can be. I think, like I said, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan as well, so I would love to see anything related to the Sinister Six, which we'll probably see in the next Spider-Man. But still, Mysterio, I think there's a huge aspect of his persona that can be covered with What If, and even like Venom. With what would happen if Venom was like a huge fan of Peter Parker, like his friend. There's so many possibilities.
Oh, I like where your head's at. You guys, it was wonderful to speak with you. Congratulations again. I am a massive fan of the show. I can't wait to watch the finale, and I hope that you're a part of season 2, and I can't wait to watch season 2. Thank you both.
Thank you so much. It was so much fun, Victor.
All right, take care now. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.